Hello and welcome to Engine Adventures. Today we're going to be towing with the 2021 Durango RT with the Tow N Go package. It has the standard 5.7 liter V8, which puts out 360 horsepower and 390 foot-pounds of torque, but it has a towing capacity of 8,700 pounds, which is the same as the two SRT Durangos. Let's jump into it and see how it does. And no, you can't see much, but I wanted to get a shot of this, and we'll switch hitches over, or ball mounts rather, but I'm towing here with the Durango, and this receiver pin depth is only about 2 inches back from the opening of the receiver, which is fairly standard on vehicles of this size. But I'm finding that there's a lot of noise, and I've had a little bit of noise before in others. This tongue weight's about 10%, it's about where it should be, but as we go over some of these bigger bumps in just a second, we'll hear the trailer kind of bucking a tiny bit, and it causes a ball mount to hit the receiver, and in the Durango, because it's an SUV, it transfers a lot of that noise into the cabin. Here we are using the Fastway Flash integrated scale ball mount, and it has a scale right here, obviously, that tells you your tongue weight, and I'm not hooked up. I'll hook up and get you that in just a minute, but I wanted to show how much play there is in this receiver. So every receiver is different. Usually the hitches are pretty close to what they should be, but the receivers will be different, and so there will be quite a bit of play, and obviously there has to be that to make sure that everything fits together as it should. You don't want it to be so tight you can't get your ball mount in there. So I do have a solution to that, but before I switch to the other solution, let's go ahead and get our tongue weight. You can see the backup camera here. It's pretty good. It's very clear. I'm actually off a little bit, so I'm going to try that again, but I didn't have the hitch in there initially. Anyway, it doesn't have a zoom feature, but with how large and clear it is, you don't really need that zoom feature. Alright, so we'll go ahead, get connected here. Hopefully you can see the tongue weight. So jack's off the ground, and tongue weight is just under 500 pounds. So you can see it's past the 400 pound mark and not quite into the 600. So just a little bit under 500 pounds there. I'd say 475 is a good estimate. Let's go ahead and switch to our other solution for the rattle. Here we have the Fastway Flash solid tow or silent tow, and you adjust it by first loosening this and then loosening this one. I already have it set to the height I need it, and then up here, as you tighten this one down, it'll raise. Let me switch over. Don't have quite enough room, but it will raise this little button right there, and that will make it so that it doesn't rattle nearly as much. And so it gets rid of all the play top to bottom. And not getting that there, sorry, it's got a ways to go, and the hitch ball's in the way. If it's in a different, if it's lower down or whatever, then you don't have this issue, but where it currently sits, it is hitting the hitch ball. So note to self, next time you do this, raise that button up first. So you can see I'm close there. The button's pretty much down. As I twist this, it comes into contact there. And now there's a little side to side rattle, but well, let's tighten it down a little more actually. There we go. All right, there we go. So just give it a small crank. You don't really want to crank on it too hard, but That tightens it down quite a bit so you don't have that rattle. Here we are, all set up and ready to go. This trailer is a little big for the Durango, but weight-wise, the Durango can handle it. It weighs just about 5,000 pounds, and as you saw, the tongue weight is just under 500 pounds, so it's right at about 10%. Let's jump in and see how it drives. Something cool on the Durango is you can bring up the rear view camera anytime. But so I drove this road this morning, and right here, no rattling and clanging and loud bumps from the hitch like there was this morning. It's completely silent. There's nothing at all from the hitch. Huge improvement over the earlier video. I'll play them back to back and hopefully we can hear the difference. So I've got the rear seats down, and it's definitely a lot louder with the rear seats down back there. Not surprised at how big of a difference it makes. But anyway, we're up and cruising now, and it does, we're at about 70 miles an hour, fifth gear. It just seems to hang out at fifth gear around 3,000 RPM. Sometimes it'll shift, but in the tow haul mode, this is where it likes to be. And the Durango is stable. There's no issues pulling this weight with it. It's kind of on the edge. Around this weight is where you would definitely switch to a weight distribution hitch. I don't feel any issues with that. The upside of getting a proper weight distribution hitch, not the chain style ones, but the ones with the arms, like an equalizer or a fastway trunnion or round bar, those style, you get sway control added in. So that's kind of this trailer. It's big, broad sides. I'll be fine on this short little trip home, but it could use some additional sway control for maybe a long trip with heavy side winds. But overall, really not too bad. The mirrors, as you can see, aren't super wide, so if you're going to tow regularly with this trailer, then you're going to want wider mirrors. If you're just towing a boat or something that's got a little bit more room to see, then you'll be fine. But on this one, as you can see in the mirrors, there's just not a lot of extra room there. You can't see down the side of the trailer super well, and I can see the lane next to me. It's not that big of an issue, but backing it up is where it becomes a little more difficult. And we did just drop into sixth gear. That was a little bit of a downhill slope, but for the most part, it hangs out in fifth gear, and it's not bad for the driver, but I wonder if the back seat, or at least the middle row passengers, would get a lot of droning, or yeah, basically get annoyed from the noise there. I don't know if that's true or not, but I know in the past, in vehicles with loud exhaust like this, my children have not liked the droning. I'm just going to play some footage here in the background while I talk about how the Durango Tow N Go tows and what it is compared to the Durango SRT and the Durango SRT Hellcat. So I've now driven all of them, and they all three have the same towing capacity. And then obviously the SRT is more track oriented and has, you know, kind of a more aggressive tune to it and more power with the 6.4 liter Hemi. And then the SRT Hellcat is the insane version with 710 horsepower, and that one just crazy. But the cool thing is this Tow N Go takes some of the technology in the shocks and suspension and the mounting and other things that are used in the SRT versions, and also has the aggressive styling in the hood with better cooling. There's just a lot of features on the Tow N Go that bring it up to be able to tow this 8,700 pound rating. And it is fairly stable, well controlled. I would recommend using a weight distribution hitch if you're going to be getting into the higher weights, you know, maybe above like 4,000 pounds. Even with this trailer, a weight distribution hitch would have been a good idea. But ultimately, this RT version is kind of the ultimate family hauler with some sportiness to it, but still has a pretty good ability to tow. I mean, the Sequoia and the Yukon, the Tahoe, the Ford Expedition, they all tow roughly in this range. Yes, you can get some of them with a higher tow rating than the 8700, but for the most part, they are in that range. So it really makes this one a good deal. And this out handles any of them on, you know, cornering and all that kind of stuff. This one performs much better. The fuel mileage was pretty poor even when not towing. I think I was getting around 15, 16 miles per gallon, but I think they've really tuned up the Hemi 5.7 liter in this case in order to give it, you know, a better towing feel and more response when driving spiritedly, I guess. One other major benefit of it is the entry cost is a bit lower than the SRT models, but like I said, you still get a lot of those same features. You just don't get the crazy high power output, which honestly, I really love driving this. The SRT models get into kind of the ridiculous range where you're bound to get yourself in trouble just because they are so fast and you want to go fast. People are going to want to race you. Even in this, I had people trying to race me. It's just one of those vehicles that stands out. And even though the looks are not like that aggressive, it looks kind of like a normal Durango with a cool hood, but there are some other features that make it stand out, and people notice that, and definitely they hear the exhaust and want to race you when they hear that. So for the most part, this one is like kind of a better all-rounder for the family than the SRT models. If you liked what you saw, be sure to hit subscribe, give me a thumbs up, comment down below, and if you didn't like it and give me a thumbs down, be sure to comment and let me know why. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.